And this is why we have so many problems when we eat fats, because we don't have the ability to digest them as they should be. And we hear today so much about trans fats and this, that, and the other thing. But in some of us, the change has taken place already. And when those glands that are coagulated start to become watery, that is the great meltdown. You got it? And look at all the storms we've been having, all the rain. There is still flooding going out in the Midwest. We don't hear too much about it because they don't want us to know about it. Oh yeah, it's still going on. Look at some of the places, snow, avalanches, and so forth and so on. The weather has changed. There is a meltdown. And I heard that in the Antarctic a couple of weeks ago, a piece of ice broke loose the size of Manhattan and became an iceberg. Imagine, we are having a meltdown because it's melting down inside of us. Yeah. It is changing, my dear people. And our whole digestive system will start to change. Now, why and how is this change coming about? What is making this change? Now, you remember how I told you about the heart going into the left field? Some people already have the heart practically in the center field. But the heart has a covering. And that covering we call the pericardium, meaning a covering over the heart. And that's a membrane. For you and for me, we'll call it a skin. But that skin has an outside layer and an inside layer, the one that is nearer to the heart. And in between it, it has a very slight space. And we have the same thing with the lungs. The lungs have a covering we call the pleura. And there is one that's closer to the bones inside, and one that's closer to the lungs. And we are told in the books of physiology that there is a potential space between the both of them. But there is a space. And it is that space that makes the big difference. Now, in an automobile, we have a piston that goes up. And before it comes down, it goes up so far, it must stop for a moment and then come down. Now, in that time or interim between going up and that pause and then coming down, every mechanic, every engineer, everyone who deals with this can't figure out what's going on at that moment. And it is that space where Harvey is. You got it? Now, there are many little spaces, but down in here, we have a covering we call the peritoneum. And then that comes up and folds itself and covers all the other organs. And when it folds itself and covers the other organs, now we give it another name, the omentum, which means an apron. And the peritoneum, you got the word tone in there. Yeah. Now you remember the story of Cain and Abel? You remember when Cain gave his sacrifice to the Lord, and Abel gave his sacrifice to the Lord? Which one did the Lord accept? Abel, because Abel gave him a lamb, sacrificial lamb. But Cain gave him the vegetables of the ground. Also, in the New Testament, when they have a feast, they have a feast of the fatted lamb, lamb again. So this skin down here, I found out yesterday, is not lamb. It is the goat. Goat. And this is why we're sick. The goat, you ever been around a goat? It has a hell of an odor. Matter of fact, the old Romans would say if you smell the armpits, it was the goat. You smell of the goat. And breath, that's foul. It's also that. Now this goat in us must be changed. Go through a metamorphosis. Must become the skin of a lamb. Hello? Yeah.